Next up is the Richard Lehman Award, which is presented to the HWA member who best exemplifies the standards of deviant behavior found in Richard Lehman's fiction. Or, at the president's discretion, it can be given to an awesome volunteer. Presenting the Richard Lehman Award, please welcome President of HWA, Rocky Wood.
Thanks, Jeff. I'm still recovering from Steve's comment, but that's great. The Richard Lehman Award for Service was instituted back in 2000. It's named in honour of Richard Lehman, who died that year while serving as our president. As the name implies, it is given by the sitting president, and is given to a volunteer who has served us in an especially exemplary manner and shown extraordinary dedication to the organisation. So this year I've chosen Michael Colangelo. Michael serves as our membership chairman, overseeing applications of both new members and upgrades for current members. He soldiers away every week, working almost invisibly to keep the turnstiles that is a theme park open. Dealing with new member applications and verifying membership levels for those new members is, to be frank, far from glamorous, but it's absolutely vital, and he completes the task with a suitably diplomatic hand. For that, I as President and our entire membership show our respect by bestowing the Richard Lehman Award. Michael is not here, so I will accept it on his behalf. Thank you.
As I get ready to introduce the presenter for long fiction, I wonder, why is the word novella longer than the word novel? That was really lame. Is there a writing instructor in the house? Right here. Excellent.
Hi, Jeff.
Hi.
I'm Mike Arnzen, and I'm a tenured professor of writing popular fiction at Seton Hill University.
Excellent.
Yes, and you look like a man who could use a little help.
Desperately.
Well, I think I know what you need. A creativity prompt. We do it all the time in writing classes.
That would be outstanding.
Well, happily, I happen to have some for you in this regard for writing or announcing the long fiction category.
Thank you very much.
Would you like to hear them?
Yes, I would.
All right, take out a pen and a piece of paper. Okay. In your mind, I want you to imagine the longest sword in the universe. Now, adopting the point of view of the sword, I want you to describe the worst sword-swallowing accident imaginable. Anything? Does that help?
Do you have another one?
Luckily, I do. Take a moment. Pretend you had characters named Mr. Novel and Mrs. Novella, who had a monstrous offspring named Little Novelette. How would that little Novelette choose to brutally murder her family?
I think I need one more.
Okay, just one more. If you were to murder a man with the world's longest book, what do you think your victim's brains would taste like?
I think I've got it.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm good. Why is the word novel longer than the word novella? Presenting the award for long fiction, please welcome Heather Graham and Christopher Conlon.
I just want to let Jeff know quickly that he's doing all right, because ever since he read his romantic horror, my phone has been buzzing off the table from romantic fiction editors calling me to introduce them to you. They want to offer you contracts.
I just want to mention that Heather and I have never even met to this moment. So we're going to do the best I can. I'm Chris, by the way.
Hi, Chris. How do you
Hi.
do?
I don't know. We have a winner, but do we have the nominees?
Oh!
Did you hear the part about that we didn't rehearse?
And the nominees for long fiction are
The Painted Darkness by Brian James Freeman.
Dissolution by Lisa Minetti.
Monsters Among Us by Kirsten McDermott.
Lisa, I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly. The Sam Hannock by Lisa Morton.
And Invisible Fences by Norman Prentice.
And the winner is
Invisible Fences, Norman Prentice.
Okay. All right, first, I want to thank the HWA and to my incredibly talented other people in the field and in the category, right? I want to first thank my partner, Jim, who has given me a life much richer than the narrator of my book would allow for himself. I want to thank my parents, the first storytellers of my life, and much better than their counterparts in the book. And I also need to thank my brother, who didn't complain that I fictionalized him into a lesbian. I want to thank my wonderful Workday colleagues at the Shoshana S. Carden School who launched this book for me in real style last year. I want to thank Steve Gilberts for the really awesome cover and Keith Minion for the beautifully subtle interior artwork. And last but not least, I want to thank Rich, Brian, Kate, Mindy, and everyone at Cemetery Dance for taking a chance on a new author and really fulfilling a lifelong dream for me by publishing my first book. Thanks very much.
A well-crafted short story can do just as much psychological damage to a reader as a novel. I read Shirley Jackson, and to this day, I still will not play the lottery. Presenting the award for short fiction, please welcome Ellen Datlow and Dacre Stoker.
We were trying to think of some patter, but we kind of gave up. However, I will say that you might have noticed that I'm, oops, oh shit. And we discovered that Dacre had something with his arm. He had a sling on until about a week or two ago. And I'm thinking, you got to get the sling back. This would be just the perfect couple here if, you know, he had the sling and I had the foot. But unfortunately, his arm's all better. So, although we could do something about that.
We could. And I'd like to say, really, the reception here has been fantastic. As a Stoker coming to your Stoker Awards, it's a little confusing, let me say. How many people get a weekend and an award named after their family? Sometimes I like to think it's after myself, and it helps the ego a little bit. Maybe one day I'll be up here and I'll get an award, especially when I hear people all weekend, oh, I've got 6 Stokers, I've had 3 Stokers, nominate for a Stoker. Well, I'm proud to say, and maybe they're watching on Ustream in South Carolina, I have 3 Stokers. Jenny, Bell, and Parker. And actually, Bram's family has direct and indirect descendants living today, 9 other Stokers. So I'm going to claim those tonight and take home 9 Stokers when I go back home tomorrow. So the nominees for Short Fiction Stoker Award are Return to Mary Braun by Gary Braunbeck. The Folding Man by Joe Lansdale. 1925, A Fall River Halloween by Lisa Minetti. In the Middle of Poplar Street by Nate Southard. And Final Draft by Mark Worthen.
I get, you can't see. No, but wait, I get to open it. Ah, the winner is A Folding Man by Joe R. Lansdale. And I'm picking up. And I happen to have a note from Joe. Joe says, oh, I'm not going to touch that again. Thanks, and I appreciate being nominated and being part of the horror community, and that a win for a short story is always, oh, I should have edited this. Anyway, I'm sorry. I mean, it's done from the wrong point of view. And that a win for a short story is always special to me because of all the types of writing I do. Short stories are my favorite, so Joe is really happy about this. And so am I. Oh, so am I, and so Nick Mamatas and I are extremely happy about it too, so thank you.
All right. Our next category is for the anti-one-hit wonders. These are people who could have looked at their early accomplishments and said, you know what, I've done enough, the rest of you take it from here, but no, they continued to contribute to the horror genre. Presenting our first Lifetime Achievement Award, please welcome Scott Edelman.
Now, those of you who are familiar with Al Feldstein Lifetime Achievement Award and all the work he did during the golden age of horror comics would know that if he had scripted the comic strip of the Stoker Awards weekend, it first would have to start off with a really bad punning title. It would have to be something like, I'm fine, how are you? And it would culminate with a banquet at which one of the guests of honors had mysteriously failed to show up for the banquet, and meanwhile all the steaks we were eating would taste really, really good. And once all the speeches were over and we'd start rushing out of here to start partying, we'd find that the halls were lined with razor blades, and then some idiot would turn out the lights. Now, Al Feldstein was born in Brooklyn back in 1925, and when he was 15, he couldn't even afford the subway fare to go to the High School of Music and Art, and he learned that a friend was working for a comic book company and making some spare money, so he got hired by Jerry Iger of the Eisner Iger shop, which created a lot of content as a packager for comic book companies, and he got a job to do the scut work stuff. He was drawing the pointers on the word balloons. He was ruling the panel board as he was erasing the pages, and he got $3 a week for this. That's how he got started in the comics business. Went into the Air Force in '43, where he spent his time designing flight jackets and squadron insignias and so forth. And after he was discharged, he started working for Fox Comics, but there was something missing about the assignments he was doing for Fox Comics. He was not getting paid in a timely manner, which a lot of us here are aware of how that happens in the publishing business. And he heard about this other publishing company that paid its freelancers, treated them a little bit better, something called Entertaining Comic Books, run by a guy named Bill Gaines. So back in '48, he started working for Gaines, first as an artist and later as a writer on not horror titles at all, because there weren't any horror titles published by them. There were these things called A Moon, A Girl, A Romance, and Crime Patrol, and saddle romances and things like that.